ahead and dive in. Start with a brief statement from Coach.
Appreciate all you guys for coming. Obviously, I think Don, Tyrone, and our whole group, staff and players, are all excited about getting the season started. Obviously, exhibition game this Sunday, which should be a great environment, and obviously we're going to treat like a real game, game routine, everything like that. It'll be a good chance to for our guys to get back on the floor in front of our home crowd, obviously against a very, very good opponent. You know, and probably more importantly than that, we're sitting here at about, I guess, 12 days away from our first game at home versus Wichita State. So just trying to, day by day, improve and come together and get stronger as a team, and looking forward to getting the season started. So with that, any questions that you guys have for us, would be more than happy to answer.
As you said, the season's coming up pretty rapidly. How are you feeling about this group right now? What do you like? What do you feel like you need to still improve on a little bit going into that opener?
I mean, obviously, I think that our experience and our togetherness is going to be a strength of the team. I think, you know, when you have an experienced and together team that has won together before, and clearly has some talented players, I think you have a chance. So I think as we enter the season, we certainly know what we're capable of, and I don't think anybody has any higher expectations for what we can become in March than we do within that locker room. At the same time, I don't think it's just get better for the next 12 days. We're going to try to be way better in March than we are right now. So I think I think we're in a good place. At the same time, obviously, we want to make sure that, you know, we got to figure out exactly, you know, which combinations work together. We want to try to make sure we continue to get better. You know, keep getting in physical and mental shape to play the pace we were playing at the end of last year. That's a year-long work in progress to have the comfort both physically and mentally to play at that speed. And then no doubt, I think we just want to get better at tough situations. You know, we want to make sure that when that game's tied with 3 minutes to go, that we're preparing to be successful and to be able to win a lot more of those games than we come up short with. And I think the key to that is just playing together, having confidence, and trusting one another, which I think we have a head start on compared to most teams. But man, I think if we can become elite at our togetherness and our trust and our confidence to move on, whether a good play happens or a bad play happens, if we can just stick together through it all, I think we can get better these next 5 or 6 months.
Coach, you inherited a group of returners that were really solid last year. Kind of tell me some of the new faces, though, that you've seen stick out in practice throughout your first summer, and who you should expect to really step up the team.
Yeah, I think in addition to the returners, I think the 4 new guys that you'll see on the floor are Braxton Bayless, Blaze Keita, Leroy Odiahi, and Julius Thedford. You know, Braxton and Leroy have both played for me in my past, so there's obviously some familiarity with them, and they've kind of seamlessly fit in, just as Blaze and Julius have as well. You know, Braxton's he's a point guard that's able and willing to play any spot on the floor. He's a winner. Obviously led a Division I team in scoring last year, so he's certainly, I'm not trying to shortchange his talent. He's had a lot of success and is a very good player, but certainly a winning, team-oriented guy. Leroy is a 6'11" front court player that's certainly on the defensive end of the floor, makes an impact with his defense and rebounding. Blaze is coming along now. Blaze obviously has been he won a national championship in junior college at Coffeyville. He's helped Nebraska win some games in the Big Ten. Blaze has a lot of experience, and he's, I'd say, playing better right now than he has any time in the 4 or 5 months since he's been here. I think as he physically gets back to where he needs to be, I think Blaze will be a huge part of our team. And then Julius is kind of the only freshman that's going to be playing, but he's been I don't want to say a surprise because we knew he was good, but Julius is a little ahead of schedule compared to where most freshmen are. So Julius is kind of a little bit of an X factor in the sense that when he's really good, he's right up there with anybody. But like most freshmen, he's just got to continue to be a little bit more consistent and make sure that his focus and effort and in response to adversity is there every single day. So, but we think Julius has a very, very bright future here at WKU. So Braxton, Leroy, Blaze, and Julius will be the 4 new guys that you'll see on the court.
I just wanted to ask you about going into the season, your preseason all-conference last year. One of your best games of the season came against.
You are? That's big time, man.
Just wanted to ask you about your feelings about get that recognition, and what's your expectations are personally for this year?
It kind of surprised me when I had got it. I was definitely excited because, I put in a lot of work last year, and I'm putting in work this year. So, it made me where I want to fight harder this year to get another ring for Bowling Green, Kentucky. So it definitely made me excited to see it. It shocked me too.
Now, Don, for you, your second year back here after a really solid first year. Talk about your decision to stay after a very solid year last year and what you're expecting on the floor this season.
I say just having like majority of our whole team back and just building upon what we was getting started and I trust Coach Hank, and what I'm expecting is just to be the best version of not only myself but as a team, being the best version of ourselves, and not just trying to outdo what we did last year, but just being a better version of ourselves each day and just giving our best effort and living with the results, and but still trying to be better than what we did last year though at the same time. So that's all I'm just expecting and hoping for this season.
Now, when you look at the schedule, so many national teams, well, you got Michigan, you got Wichita State coming to town, you're going to Kentucky. When we talked to Coach earlier about the schedule release of that schedule, he talked about how this team kind of wants another chance to attack some of these national programs. For you guys to get back to the NCAA tournament, what can you take us kind of to the locker room of what you guys are thinking about this season and how both of you guys are just trying to attack this season and your mentality heading forward?
I think for all of us, it's a different type of excitement of just knowing the level of teams that we're playing and just knowing the challenge ahead. It kind of just like fuels us in another way and give us a different energy boost going into our season.
Is this something that you expect to hit the ground running, or will it be a work in progress on the season?
What was that like?
Do you expect things to come together early in the season, or even at the start of exhibition and whatnot, or is this something that you expect to develop over the season as far as what you guys want to do?
I expect us to hit the ground running, but I know for sure if it was to take the slower steps to get where we think we should be at, it wouldn't be a surprise to me. I know it's going to be a challenge for sure.
Coach, you guys were 12-2 last year at home, very solid home court advantage. How important is it that you establish that early on coming into this year?
I mean, I think you certainly want to win your home games. I don't. How important? I mean, to me, it's important that every time we take the floor, especially here at Diddle, that we put the best effort out there. That when our fans go home, they say, "Man, that team cares. That team gave it everything they had. That team, man, we outworked the other team. Man, that was awesome to go see those guys play." I think kind of as Don said, I mean, we're planning to have good results here at the beginning, but you never know how it'll go. I think it's no matter. I mean, again, if we have a great environment versus Wichita State, and last year when we played them, we didn't shoot the ball very good. So all of a sudden we actually played a pretty good game but didn't shoot the ball very well. So if somehow that happens, you bounce back. So again, I don't, whether it's a must win or how, I don't exactly know that. But man, it's important that we stick together and we give, our effort is there and our attitude is there and our togetherness is there, and we put on a show in front of our fans that they're proud of, and that we do. We're never going to lose because of lack of effort or selfishness or because we don't care or because we didn't bounce back. No, we're always going to bring that fight to the floor, and I think that's what you can control. I mean, you can't control every little part about basketball. So no doubt, I think we're preparing ourselves to be ready to go on November 4th. That is, hey, we're aware that that's kind of a deadline, and that because there's a game that day. On November 5th, we're going to be 1-0 or 0-1. So we want to be as prepared as possible for the first time we take the floor to succeed. I mean, that is the goal here. I mean, we're trying to win. So we're going to do everything that we can to do that. At the same time, it's our job to stay in the moment and, as Don just said, be the best version of ourselves and make sure we stick together. And obviously, we're playing some of the best teams in the country here right from the beginning. So no matter what happened or what the result is, if we control what we do in our process, we'll learn from it. We'll get better from it. But But don't get me wrong, the plan is to, I think we'll feel a lot better if we get off to a great start here at home than if we hit a couple bumps in the road.
All right, just looking at that schedule too, other than the Grand Canyon game, you guys are going to be, I think, within 3 hours of home, all the way through late December. What does that do for kind of building some following within the fan base too? Is that by design that you kind of scheduled regionally like that? Seems like you have a couple extra home games in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly by design to have some home games. I mean, I think there's, you know, I feel, I don't know, I think the more you can play at home, the better, you have better. I think the home road split is probably as big of a split as there is in basketball as far as winning and losing goes. So don't get me wrong. I think you certainly want to play home games, and I think the community feeds off of that. I think that having been here last year, I think early on maybe we didn't have a couple of those home games, and that probably took a little while for our fans to come out and kind of see what we're doing and what we had going on, even though we had a really good record. So don't get me wrong. It'll be. I mean, we want to. You can't always control it. I mean, we're able to. Hey, we have Wichita State at home this year because we went on the road last year. So you can't control every single opponent you play, or it's. I learned this year it's a little more complicated than you'd think to put together an ideal kind of non-conference schedule how you want it. At the same time, I mean, Lipscomb just got picked to win their league. Jackson State got picked to win their league. Marshall's a kind of a historical rival. And I guess those road games we have at Kentucky and Evansville, I mean, I guess those are within a couple hours away. So I do think it's cool looking at what the result is that maybe all but the Grand Canyon game before Christmas, everything else is within. If our fans want to watch us play, they can come to every single game. And I do think our guys, I mean, these two for sure, Wu and Don, they feed off of our fans. They feed off of. The environment at Diddle, and also, when we play road games last year at a place like Middle Tennessee, so same type of distance, man, there's a lot of fans there, and it's something that makes us want to, that certainly encourages you to continue to go when things get challenging, because you see that you're playing for more than just yourself. So I'm happy it worked out that way, and I do think we'll try to continue to play some of the teams from the region for sure.
Tyrone, you've been here for a couple of years, you're finally here now. Kind of talk about the growth you've seen from the ups and downs of this program in your personal game coming into this last year.
I'll say that one more time. Sorry.
Kind of talk about the growth you've seen both from yourself and the program over the past couple of years here.
For my first year, it was kind of rough because I was learning the game, but the years coming when we got Lutz, I was trying to transfer, leave out, but he told me to stay. He, make me a better player and bring in players that can help around us. The growth, it was a tough road, of the growth. Man, I'm sorry, I'm kind of nervous. But, man, I seen WKU come from the bottom to the top, and it really made me excited to see that, and I was really happy to be a part of that, to win a championship here, from being the last team probably in the conference to the top of the conference my second year here. And now we got Coach Hank, and I know for a fact that you see his resume, he wins. And we definitely going to win this year, and he makes sure we're going to win, even if we have break practices. He tells us, we're going to be a winning team no matter what, And, I'm just happy to be a part of this program and this WKU family. And I'm definitely want to get us another ring here before I leave out. And I know Donnie and the team does that too.
Coach, you're talking about that, hardworking and positive attitude and mindset coming on the court this year. How helpful is it to have these two guys next to you, along with the big chunk of returning players, to really help that leadership aspect on the court?
Yeah, for sure. I think it's a huge advantage. I think anytime you have continuity, and you have two all-conference players return, it's crazy how unique it is in college basketball today. And so at the same time, I think it's a bigger advantage than ever. Obviously these guys, along with, Baba and Christian and Jalen and Jack, Teagan, Enoch, Fluff, JD, Baloo, Tyrone. There's a lot of, and I'll feel really bad if I missed anybody there, but it's kind of a unique year. I've told these guys a couple times, I'm very aware that, take myself, we're never going to have this many guys back again. Like this is we could be doing this 20 or 30 years, and this will be the largest chunk of minutes, points, experience, players, anything that we have returned. And it really is a testament to their togetherness, their, even when, as we just said, even if we have a moment or a day where it seems like we're kind of, I think yesterday in the court I said, I don't know, man, is every moment you have with family, is it perfect? Is it 100% smooth? Or sometimes that you have a rough hour or a rough day that you got to fight through things? And the one thing about this group is we always fight through things together, because we've been through a lot now. Like except for those, I guess except for Blaze and Julius, there's all of us are kind of connected, and for at least, 16, 18 months at minimum, and we've all gotten through challenges together. We've all gotten through tough experiences together. So there's not a lot you can throw at these guys that's going to break us, and I think that that's certainly a unique strength to know that we have, and there's certainly a will to succeed, and you can hear the pride in Wu's voice when he talks about Western and his teammates and our basketball family and all that, and he's that's a common thread through our locker room. So it's certainly a huge advantage, and I definitely feel very blessed to be in a situation where you get to coach guys that have that type of pride for what we're doing together.
Coach, could you talk about transfer portal, your approach to it, and also NIL and how it has changed anything?
Yeah, obviously college basketball probably in the last 2 to 3 years has changed a little bit more than it probably had in the previous 30 years. So it's definitely a different world. I think the transfer portal and he says that phrase, but even immediate eligibility in the transfer portal, like being able to transfer as many times anywhere you want, that certainly has changed the dynamic. And is NIL connected to that? Sure, because when you could play right away, I guess people could get in these guys' ears and say, hey, there's an opportunity that's got a little bit more NIL at a different spot. So even if they're not in the transfer portal, there's ways to get the message across. So I think it's really just the immediate eligibility in the transfer portal that you can just go anywhere as many times as you want to. And then, NIL is connected to that, has created a situation where there's always going to be a lot of movement. There's always going to be new rosters. There's always going to be, there's going to be a higher level of change than ever. I think a lot of, the tricky thing about the transfer portal is, don't get me wrong, we have a couple guys here that have transfer in, and we love it when they transfer in. And I think most coaches hate it when guys transfer out. At the same time, you got to understand, it is what it is. And I think that as coaches, obviously I'm a junior college coach at heart, so I think when you coach junior college, you have to create an environment where each person feels that it's in their best interest to be part of your program. And I think that's what's happened now in Division I. I think that you just heard Wu and Don both kind of answer, but it's not. There's no real kind of convincing of anything. Like you try to create an environment where each person, staff, player, it's ultimately on me as the head coach, but our staff as a whole, it's on each head coach at each program to create an environment and a culture and a day-to-day vibe that they think that being at Western Kentucky or whatever school they go to is in their long-term best interest. And in junior college, you always talk about, Don played for me, so we always talk about what's next. And I always think that sometimes in Division I, coaches lose sight of what's going to happen with Don McHenry and the rest of his life, or what's going to happen with Tyrone Marshall and the rest of his life. And while this is their last year of eligibility at WKU, I want this to be the best year they've ever had to this point. But I don't want this to be the best year of their future. I want next year for them to be even more fulfilled and successful than they are now. And then when Don's 25, I want him to feel better than he's ever felt. And when Wu's 30, I want him to feel better than he's ever felt. So I think you try to create an environment and you try to create relationships where they believe that they can turn into the best version of themselves by being at your school. And obviously with the immediate eligibility in the portal, man, if you don't create that as a head coach, you're going to lose your team, and don't get me wrong, the NIL and different, there's a lot of access to a lot of different players today, so don't get me wrong, you could do everything I just said, and a player could still choose to move on, and that's his or her right as an athlete, and And that's the world we live in. So I think that as a coach, I think you're just inspired and you feel the need to make sure that each player feels that they're getting everything out of this situation, this opportunity that they can get. And for the next, obviously the season's the most important part of that. You know, these guys have an opportunity, you know, to have the best season and the best and improve as players. And hopefully, obviously these guys are out of eligibility, but we hope that our young guys feel that being here at Western, and maybe those guys see the opportunity to step up into Don and Wu's roles, and all of a sudden they could be sitting up here as preseason all-league players, and they could see these guys turn into professional basketball players, and then they can see, okay, man, if I do everything I need to do at Western, then that'll happen for me. So it's all kind of connected, and it's definitely a different world, but I think as a coach, it certainly inspires you to try to create an environment where these guys see the benefits to being here at WKU.
What are some specific things that you feel like your team can be able to do well right out of the gate and kind of inverse that? What are some things that you feel like kind of take some time throughout the season?
That's a tricky one. When you scrimmage against each other in practice, on every play, when the offense scores, you don't know if it's good offense or bad defense, and when the defense gets a stop, you don't know if it's bad offense or good defense. So I think we're going to be able to score the ball. I mean, we're going to continue to play at a fast pace, and and we have good depth. So, kind of similar to what a year ago, I think we can wear some people down with our speed and our depth. I think we can stay fresh, and obviously we have long, talented athletes that can score. So, we're going to try to kind of increase the possessions in a game and try to put ourselves in position to make people a little bit uncomfortable. I do think when the game slows down, we've got to be able to get stops and rebounds, and we got to be able to score in the half court. So, a lot of the stuff that we're working at improving is when we fail at speeding the game up, and when the game does slow down, you know, we got to be able to be on the same page and execute to score on offense. And if we're up by 1 and there's 45 seconds to go, man, we got to get a stop and a rebound. And that situation happens throughout the game. So just when the game gets a little bit slower, I think we have to continue to improve as a basketball team.
Just looking at that roster makeup too, as far as the scoring goes, it certainly looks like just proven scorers kind of lean heavily toward guards. Guys you brought in, Blaze and Leroy. Blaze scored some in junior college. Leroy's always been kind of a defensive guy. Where are you going to get the production there? Obviously, you got Tyrone and Baba's can score some too, but otherwise, do you see kind of another Rodney Howard emerging?
I have a lot of confidence in Blaze and Baba and Tyrone and Enoch to score the basketball. So I guess I think that Rodney was a great player, somebody you can certainly throw the ball to in his best spots. But I guess I would agree that Leroy's a little bit more of a defensive player. But between Blaze, Baba, Wu, and Enoch, I think there's certainly spots that we can throw them the ball in their sweet spot. And then I think all 4 of those guys have the ability to score 15 or 20 points on any given night.
Coach, you talked a little bit just about how kind of unprecedented this season is with you taking over as the head coach. But what some people don't realize is you have guys on this team that have been with you through all walks of life. I mean, you have Don, who was with you at the JUCO level, came here with you from that level, saw you as an assistant coach, now the head coach. Tyrone, obviously, having you as an assistant last year. Other guys you bring in, having connections to in the past. How does it all kind of jumble together, as well as the guys who haven't been coached under you until now?
Yeah, of the guys that I guess are going to play, I mean, really just Blaze and Julius are those 2, and the rest of them have. So it's gotten together really, really well. I mean, Blaze and Julius have seamlessly fit in with what we're doing, and they're certainly super important parts of the team. So we've been getting at it since about June 1st. You know, so I don't know, was that 5 months in? Like, I don't think Julius and Blaze feel any type of difference compared to anybody else, and no doubt I know that. I don't know. Shoot, it's once you go through a season, especially a successful season together, whether that's 1 or 2 or 3 or I guess 4 years in a couple of their cases, everybody's part of that. So yeah, it's definitely it's the experience together, but it's the successful experience together. And then I mean, Blaze won a national championship in junior college, so he's had a lot of successful experience on his own. And I'm telling you guys, Julius is going to be a player. I'm just letting you know. So Julius is there's no, and he's not scared of anything. So if he didn't fit in, he would force himself to fit in pretty good. He's a confident young man. So it's been, like I said, it's been a cool experience because of the history with everybody, and I think that they feel Braxton Bayless wasn't here last year, but you wouldn't know it by how he fits in and how, I think on his visit, him and Leroy both acted like they were just part of this. So it's kind of been a seamless transition, and it's certainly, that we have some shared, connected together experiences that have made this group extremely close.
Can you give me an update on a couple of Cades on the roster this year? Cade Onseld, obviously freshman, you guys been with him for a while, and then
Yep.
adding Cade Stinnett.
Yep. Cade Unseld had a kind of a second. He had a knee injury that lingered all throughout last year, and Cade was in June and July was trying his best to play, and just seemed like there was something a little bit off. So Cade had a procedure on his knee done in July. He's not healthy yet. It's probably sometime in the middle of the year he'll probably be back and fully ready to go. So obviously a potential redshirt for Cade Unseld if he's going to miss a chunk of the season. There's definitely a potential redshirt there. And Cade Stinnett, a local kid from Bowling Green, Greenwood High School that we added when we took him. The plan was for Cade Stinnett to redshirt this year and to play the following 2 seasons, and that remains the plan as of right now.
Another player that came here last year with ABC to injury, Tyrone. How has he been developing, and where do you see him playing in this year's season?
I guess I'll add Tyrone to that too. The plan as of right now is for Tyrone to redshirt the year as well. Tyrone had a second knee operation in April, so his rehab last year did not get all the way back healthy from the knee surgery that he had after his injury at Corpus Christi. Tyrone had a second knee operation in April, and his rehab has been going fantastic since then. Obviously, it's probably about a 7 to 9 month recovery from that. We're about 6 months in. He's working out. He's getting there. We're not going to play anybody that's not fully healthy. We'll do what's in everybody's best interest. So if he's still probably a month or 2 away. We do have 4 senior guards on this team. I think it would be a tough situation after 2 years for him sitting out to just throw him into the fire. And we certainly want to do what's in Tyrone's best interest. So the way it's looking right now, Tyrione's probably most likely going to redshirt the year as well. And he still will have 1 year of eligibility.
What's Falou's status?
Falou is going to redshirt this year as well. Yep, Falou. I'm going to give you the same answer to Tyrone. Falou had a second knee operation as well. So Falou is rehabbing. Him going to physical therapy every single day. Obviously, Falou is a special talent and a special kid. He's such an upbeat person, and there ain't many 6'11" dudes that can shoot that ball like Falou can. Cade, Tyrone, and Falou all add positivity, and they all add energy, and they're all a super important part of our group in what we do. So the plan for all 4 of those guys is to redshirt this season.
What about Tegan?
Tegan's rehabbing. Tegan had a hip procedure in May. Tegan's status is a little more up in the air. Tegan is rehabbing every single day to get back on that floor. He will not be playing versus UAB this Sunday. That'll probably be a day by day, week by week here in the next 2 to 3 weeks to get Tegan back on the floor.
How do you approach your starting 5, and have you already put that together?
I have not put it together. I actually made it pretty clear maybe about a month ago with this group that sometimes my starting 5 in my past has changed a little bit. I probably reward practice a little bit more than I feel like some people do. Not saying anybody specific. But we have about 10 players that, I could make a case for a lot of guys. So we try to reward consistency. You try to reward the guys that, that perform every day. I do think as a coach, you can raise the bar by rewarding what these guys do every day. I think we have a very high expectation within our program. So I know that, I guess I'm just the messenger. If there's somebody that clearly is the most consistent guy, no matter how talented you are, if you're the most consistent player on our team, you're probably going to start. I think all that is the first opportunity to be in the game. I know it's public. I know that the lights go off. I know that it's cool. I know families love it. I know it's kind of a symbol of importance. At the same time, I guess we'll take it kind of game by game here, and we'll find a rotation. We'll find a way that kind of works for our team.
Tyrone and Donnie, I want to talk a little about, this non-conference schedule coming up, some fun ones, a lot of them that are going to be close to home. But, you got Grand Canyon, you got UK. How excited are you guys for those games? And, what are you hoping how they help you prepare for week play?
I say my exciting one is UK. Definitely a big rival. Want to go down there and win. And Michigan. Michigan is going to be fun to play. And Grand Canyon. They made their run in the NCAA tournament. So it's going to definitely prepare us big for our conference. It's going to have us ready and